Hey guys, it's Will. KULR stock is one of the space companies that's had a lot of attention recently due to their new Bitcoin treasury as well as their technology that they've started to expand into other industries in, like robotics and even a little bit of blockchain tech. And originally, they were a battery company. So we're kind of covering them today because a couple reasons why. Some people said, Will, this stock is going to go so high because they invest a huge proportion of their income into Bitcoin. However, we saw a Bitcoin rally recently up to, what did it get to? 100, let's see, 111,000, somewhere in that range. Yeah, 109,000 currently, holding that pattern. It really recovered back up to those previous highs. And what did we see? We saw this huge, 20% rally, but over on KULR, we didn't see anything happen. And the reason why is because of the manipulation that's happened with the stock. At least that's how I view it. When it comes to KULR, we started covering it in November. It surged and we got to make some profits, riding it to that $5 price point that it hit back in December. Then it started selling off, just consistently selling off. We thought maybe, hey, this is the new trend, and it started to push up and it just continued to sell off. And that's the type of manipulation we're looking at. However, recently, we do see this consolidation from left to right. And the same thing kind of happened. Maybe people start to get excited. They see it push up just 2 weeks ago, or really 10 days ago, up to this $1.82 range, but got rejected again at this level. So what gives? Why KULR is a stock that's maybe has potential, but at the same time is one you might want to stay away from. To differentiate and to figure out whether or not it's a good investment, we do a three-part analysis. And the first part is their markets. Their markets is in battery tech, but they have pivoted quite a bit from battery tech to Bitcoin to robotics. And so at this moment, their main market is battery tech, and they focus on batteries for space. So they have their KULR One space batteries, and they also focus on thermal solutions. So fiber thermal solutions, so carbon composite makeups of their batteries that are able to withstand extreme temperatures so that when in space, they aren't going to see that they're going to have trouble withstanding those extreme temperatures in space. Because obviously space temperatures are very extreme. So when it comes down to, you see, reduces system temperature excursions and extends both the life of key components in your product as well as overall operating times. And they have a description here: carbon fiber in combination with other materials to produce composite cores with finely dispersed thermal conductivity for efficient heat transfer to the PCM. So the PCM is the phase change material. And they have some partnerships in the past. They have this pending lunar flashlight, and on the 2020 Mars rover, Sherlock instrument. They also are working with NASA and have some contracts there. So they got NASA contracts. They've been working with some of these companies like Department of Transportation or Lockheed Martin. And they recently moved their headquarters or their operations into Texas, right next to Lockheed Martin. So the problem with KULR is that they've always gone into different markets as well that split their attention and focus. And so for that reason, their market is okay. Maybe they have a chance of, being in a market that's a $5 to $10 billion market with the space battery tech. That's pretty aggressive, more like a $3 to $5 billion market there. And then you look at the third piece, right, which is their outside of their news, is their financials. And the financials are at 350 million. So about 1/10 of that of maybe the market size. Market size could be above 5 billion, but most likely space battery tech smaller. We've actually seen that some estimates say the market could be up to 8 billion, but most estimates are between 3 to 5. So, they got 1/10 maybe of the space battery tech market as far as market cap goes. But when it comes down to the revenue, the net income just hasn't been there. Negative 18 million, negative 4 million, negative 2. Their net income is increasingly negative, and their revenue really hasn't seen any spikes. So in their recent earnings, they came in, which is up, from a percentage standpoint, looking good, 39% year over year. But from a revenue standpoint of actual numbers, I mean, that's only, a couple hundred K in difference. And really, their net income is down 275%. So the financials are not good. Like, they don't stand out to me as something that would make this investment be a good investment for KULR from a financial standpoint. Now, we've really watched them since this quarter, and we saw pretty good numbers. And then, they came in net income a little bit greater there, but we're like, okay, we can work with them. And then they came out with this new earnings here. It's been 3 quarters we've been covering them, and now a negative 18 million net income. So net profit margins down there, negative 700%. So that's where financials don't look so hot. You see the consolidation from left to right. And in their recent earnings call, they talk a lot about expanding into other things like robotics. And one of the things is, obviously, they're not correlated with Bitcoin. While they allocate about 90% into Bitcoin, we didn't see any increases or showing signs of being tied, which it's not tied, but to see that the Bitcoin move would impact their stock positively, we didn't see that. One of the things that did impact their stock positively as of recently, that we did see a little spike there just a few days ago for a momentary announcement, was that they recently were added to the Russell 3000 index. And I actually was able to confirm that. The Russell 3000, it's interesting, right? This is a one of the main indexes that smaller companies get added to, and that are seen as not even just smaller companies. You see top 11 holdings, and to see them get added there is like fairly good thing. But then you got to look at the other indicators, and so far we haven't seen anything that would show signs of being a really good reason to buy KULR now. Now, if we see their financials start to come in good, and that Bitcoin investment obviously is not such a bad investment after Bitcoin's gone up now since their entry. So financials may be coming better. They start to actually sign some more contracts, because if you look at the investor announcements, while they have their Bitcoin treasury, they expand their holdings in Bitcoin. They had their first quarter earnings, and they talked about how they wanted to create a secure, verifiable supply chain. They really haven't come out with any new partnerships or contracts that have dollar amounts placed on them. There's the projection for the battery industry between 3.9 billion and 6.35 billion, which makes sense. But again, no contract values there, no new contract values that have indicated growth in the overall products of the company. So that, in combination with their financials, is part of the reason why it's a hold to sell right now with KULR, and this consolidation's here. Now, if we start to see some momentum kick in, let's say that Russell 3000, increases their market cap, or we do start to see possibly, because they're a company that holds a lot of Bitcoin, investors see that as an advantage, not something that's a downside, and we see it be something that serves as a positive sentiment for the stock, then investors start to say, oh, maybe it's not correlated, but that's a good Bitcoin investment, how they're holding their money and what have you. They got about $70 million in Bitcoin. Then the move to happen here would be this up to $1.80 range. Now, again, just keep in mind that overall trend does seem to be going down. However, we have seen this consolidation stabilize a little bit from left to right for the last 4 months. And so now it's here at this support around $1.15. And it's bounced there many times, as you can see, but it's now a move that we're watching to see if it can potentially make that move. If it does make that move, again, it's about a 55% margin for profit. The risk is there, as it's a penny stock essentially and could sell back down. But just keep in mind that the technicals and chart look fairly good. What I'd look for is a break above this EMA, so some upward momentum. most likely to see a break above that $1.20-$1.25 range would be more indication that a move like that is really starting to happen. So as of now, it's just kind of selling down, and there's no indication yet that it's going to bounce or make that move. So we'll be watching it closely, see if any opportunities present themselves at market open. And if you ever want to join us in our daily live sessions, we have Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's the second link in the description down below for StockMate. Not only do you get our daily live trading in StockMate, but you also get our recent targets. We just dropped exciting earnings this week. You got Nvidia. You also have all of our price targets for those companies, where we see them going. And you get a free book. You get a free t-shirt like the one I'm wearing right now. Check out that logo on the back. StockMate t-shirt included for free when you enroll in StockMate. And we got a huge sale for Memorial Weekend ending tonight. So there's a special discount code for you in the description below. It's that second link again below. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.